Many states, Illinois prominently, certainly among them, are deregulating the energy markets and freeing businesses from the stranglehold that single utilities have traditionally held. Here to join us and perhaps demystify the concept is Michael Meath, the spokesman for the American Coalition of Competitive Energy Suppliers. Michael, welcome to the program.
Shalom. Hi. Good evening. Thanks for having us.
You bet. So tell us, let's start at the beginning. Why is deregulation of energy important?
Well, if you think back, if the listeners think back a couple of decades, we had other industries that have deregulated or, I think deregulation is almost a misnomer. Really, it's more that they've become competitive. So whether it's our telephones, the airlines, some trucking, all industries have generally gone through kind of an economic, if you studied economics, you'd see where sooner or later there's this competitive push that seems to come about to try to drive efficiency, and people want choice.
So let's put it bluntly, is there a cost savings that comes along with deregulation?
There can be, Shalom. It depends on what your definition of savings is and what you're looking for as value. So yes, there can be savings. I think sometimes people are looking to save 25, 35, 40%, and they think they're going to do that on their energy bill, and they're not necessarily going to do that with energy choice, but they're going to be able to take control of their bill. They're going to maybe save some money, and they're going to get some services and products that they weren't able to get before, just like, as I said, with your telephone.
So let's talk about the landscape around the country. Illinois, again, we talked about it before. We have deregulated the energy market. How many other states have gone through this process?
Probably about 23 or 4. Pretty much if we took Wisconsin, Illinois, and then went east with very little exception, maybe West Virginia and New Hampshire, you pretty much have some level of choice all the way east, and then maybe Kentucky and Virginia north. So
who's resisting the process?
Yeah. West Coast a little bit more, but the middle section of the country, not so much.
Yeah. So the Coalition of Competitive Energy Suppliers, tell us about the organization and who your members are.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me give you a website. It's competitiveenergy.org. So pretty easy. Just the two words, competitiveenergy.org.
That's great.
There's 7 members of the coalition right now. They are all kinds of suppliers from all over the country. They really represent every part of the United States. And they do not, through the work they do with Access, which is our nickname or our acronym, they do not push a regulatory agenda. What they're trying to do, Shalom, is just educate. In other words, they're not trying to say, here's our offer, buy our product. Not in this forum. What they're trying to do in this forum is just say, understand what it is that's going on out there, learn the terminology, look at our myth versus fact, look at some of our videos, and learn about how you can shop so that you'll be better informed. That's really what it's all about.
Many of our listeners have been approached by a representative of a company like an Ambit or many of the other companies that are marketing switch from your current provider of natural gas, electricity, save money, and I, among them, have actually saved some of that money. But is the impression that people have of this deregulation of energy just the multi-level marketing? Can you demystify that concept for some of our listeners?
Sure. I think when you use the term, Shalom, multi-level marketer, people are thinking of Amway sales, and they're thinking of, if I sell to my brother-in-law, then my brother-in-law sells to somebody else, and then I'm going to make money and do this and do that. The multi-level marketer is one model, but there's lots of other models out there, and in other states they're doing it even differently than they are in Illinois. The idea is, for literally 100 years, you only had one choice on where you bought your electricity, for example. And now with this emerging, and it's emerging, it's not a done deal. The work is not done yet. But with this emerging marketplace, you might buy something else along with your electricity. You might, in fact, choose to buy green electricity because the environment's important to you. You might choose to buy some other product like a furnace or a boiler repair service that comes along with your purchase of electricity or natural gas. You might want some other kind of energy auditing. You might want a fixed price as opposed to a variable price that changes with the market. There have been times over the last couple of years where a fixed price might have been a pretty darn good thing.
And I think the American Coalition of Competitive Energy Suppliers, once again, we're talking with Michael Meath, their spokesman, is really doing a great job at demystifying, educating listeners and the consumers in the market that deregulation is actually a good thing and that having competition is a positive development. So once again, I want to make sure that we give our listeners the opportunity to learn more. Michael, do you mind sharing that website one more time?
Sure. Shalom, it is competitiveenergy.org. And they can also follow us on Twitter at Energy Access, and that's with ACCES.
Fantastic. Michael Meath, thank you for joining us on the program. I'd love to check back in with you in 2016 to talk a little bit more in depth about the energy deregulation market. We appreciate your time on the program.
Thanks for your interest, Shalom. Have
a great week. You Bye. Too. Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solutions center. Check them out, tandemhr.com. Coming up, we're going to learn a little bit about Social Security rule changes with Chris Everett of Everett Wealth Solutions. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business.